Hi, guys. Hello. I'm on time. Perfectly, adequately on time. No, I'm on time. Can't you see me? Can nobody see me? Here I am. Hi, guys. No, I'm on time. I'm always on time, obviously. How's it going, everybody? How's it going, everybody? Late. I'm never late. I'm never late. You're all just early. You're all just early. Hi, everyone. How's it going? Did everybody enjoy the chapter of Dandadan? There was a chapter today. You may not know. You may not be aware of it. 1 second. There we go. That's a bit better. It was a good chapter. It was a very good chapter. It was, yeah. My boy Okarun got his shit pushed in. Unfortunately. There was a chapter today. Every Monday. Sometimes. Sometimes every Monday. Yes. No, it was very good. It's an enjoyable... I mean, it's one of those ones where, like, I feel like there's not a tremendous amount to kind of, like, dig into outside of just how it develops the plot. A little bit. Not enough dinosaurs, I agree. I concur with that. Not enough dinosaurs. He put up a great fight, but, like, I think... for me, anyway, what we're seeing here, at least as far as I'm concerned, is the limitations. These are the limitations that a human can really reach. Like these are the limitations of being just a mere mortal. When it comes to fighting people with these powers, right? Because it's like he put up a good fight. He put up a good fight back when he fought the Muse, right? The little pygmies. He did a good job fighting those guys, but they were tiny, you know. It's not the same as a full blown yokai user or power user of some description. It's just the nature of these things, and I think that again, like it's fine for fighting the mummy and stuff, right? With Momo, I suppose also there's something in here. Yeah, no, like he was outnumbered. That's undeniable. But I also think that there is an element here that is number one. There's the limitations that I feel a human can reach when fighting these powerful entities. But I also think that there is an argument here that the reason that he managed to get through the fight against the mummy, the reason he managed to get through that fight how he did is because of the fact that that he was with Momo. You know, his weapon here. His weapon in this fight just doesn't feel as significant. Yeah, no, the seal guy is hard to look at. He was powered by love, exactly. This is a tough fight, you know. This is a tough fight. This is a bitter pill to swallow. This one. And you know what? Tell you what else as well. It feels like the last arc. And I'm at the point now where I'm pretty comfortable saying that we can treat the small Momo arc and the Amnesia Momo arc as two separate kind of entities, right? I think that it's fair to say that the scene of them eating together in Seiko's room provided a pretty decent cutoff point for that arc versus this one. At least for me, right? That counts as maybe not a dinner scene, but it fills the role of the dinner scene. So I think that we can cut the two of them, you know, into two different arcs here. But most importantly, right, the last arc, our boys won. They won a lot, right? They just kept winning. You know, This one, they're not winning that much, right? Like, yes, Okurun beat the mummy, right? But not by a lot, and he got very injured. And straight after that, emotionally, he hit a fucking loss when it came to Momo. I feel like that almost wanted to set us up with these expectations. Rin and Koki got absolutely blasted, you know. Ultimately, the bad guys were defeated by the the yokai troop, but it didn't change the fact that they lost their powers, you know. So there's a lot of loss happening here, losing, and this is another L. You know, my boy Okurun hasn't taken an L like this since the Space Globalist arc. And I'm not saying he didn't fight well. He fought well, you know. But my boy, he got. Yeah, it's true though. Rin and Koki, they took the L on that shit, dude. I agree. No, Mana, I agree with you. I think that the stakes here have been made clearer. Because Okurun didn't just lose here, right? He got wiped the fuck out. Yeah. I mean, I do think that this is maybe the bit in the fight where the main guys are kind of beat down and then they bounce back, right? They hit that point in the Serpo arc, they hit that point in a lot of their fights. Including the Cursed House and stuff, right? Catching strays. No, I don't even mean that in like a bad way necessarily, right? But they took a fat L. I'm sorry, they did. I'm not even saying that like in a bad kind of like, oh, like they suck for taking that L. They just did take an L. And that's fine. Sometimes you gotta. Sometimes that happens, man. You know? Not to me personally, but to other people, I'm sure. They got blasted. Yeah, exactly. Is what I'm saying. And they lost their powers. You know? So, I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, I think their chapters are part of this arc, yeah. Sometimes you just don't have the toilet on your side in time. That's it. No, that is true. That is true. The enemies did shit themselves, so it's kind of like a, it balances out a little. But I mean, no, June 8th is going to be a hiatus week. That's what's going to happen. There is not going to be an episode on that day. I've decided. I've come to that decision that's what's going to happen. I'm so glad that the hairdresser guy, this mysterious hairdresser guy, is not the same guy who's wielding the scissors. I'm glad that he seems to be a good guy. I'm quite pleased about that. Because it pretty much fucking confirms. It pretty much confirms that Kinta is getting his glow up. You know? It's not going to be the Kiss chapter. You're crazy. You're all crazy for saying that. I'm sorry. You are. It's just not happening. It's just not happening on June 8th. That might be the week that Kinta gets his haircut, though. I mean, how many weeks is there until June 8th? Is it 3? 3 weeks? I'm here for... honestly, I'm not even, like, joking. I'm straight up just here for Kinta's glow up. I'm so excited. I'm really excited for it. Always here. Always believed. It's true. It's true. No, don't. I would, if it comes down to it, if something really big happens on the 8th, the second that I land, I will be on stream. I'll set up a stream. Even if I need to use a fucking webcam. A webcam of all fucking things. Could you imagine? Oh my god. It's like backwards. It's evolving, but in reverse. Well, I think that he's probably the ally that they spoke about, that Seiko and Turbo Granny... Was it not Turbo Granny. Yeah, no, Seiko, Turbo Granny, and then the those various different people spoke about. You know, I think these 240p. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'll do it if I have to. Okay, the lighting won't be pretty though, guys. So let's just hope it doesn't come to that, because it's going to be a hiatus week. I've decided. I've come to that decision. 144p. That's literally 10 times worse. Actually, I don't think I stream in 1440, do I? I think I stream in 1080. I think I stream in 1080. Yeah, I know it would be pretty embarrassing, but whatever. We ball. Fuck it, we ball. But I mean, there is a lot in this chapter that's quite interesting, to be fair. But a lot of it is just Okarun getting his shit pushed in. So it's kind of it's a bummer, but like my boy's been humbled enough times that this is nothing new to him. You know, the fact that he's able to keep up at all is something. You know, there's also a lot in here to do with Ida as well. That, like, the fact that she tries to give up her powers, that she's willing to just give up her powers like that is wild. I find that quite wild. I'm maybe convinced, though, that Ida isn't going to lose her powers at all. I think she's probably not going to lose her powers at all. No, I don't think it's his fault either. Frankly, I'm quite glad. I'm quite glad that this is how it went down. You know, I think it's important for the main character to not just win, right? You grow from these experiences. Most of his experiences have been by not being adequate enough, you know? And I suppose that there was almost this feeling of when Okarun confessed his feelings to Momo, there's almost a feeling that was like almost an end point. And it did definitely close off a very long, saga-long arc for Okarun, which he demonstrated by being able to tap into that all out for the third time. But in the same breath, like, that's not where the story finishes, you know? So there's a lot in there, in his character, I think, that is just going to keep being in these kind of situations, is kind of his whole thing. Yeah, honestly, like, I do hope that there is some kind of power that he's got, like, still lingering. Because even the way, and we'll get to this as we go through the chapter in just a second, guys, but even the way that he's kind of crashed against the wall, and that kind of like, in fact, I'll just show you the screen. In fact, hold on. Let me just check to see if I'm talking absolute bollocks, or if I'm actually know what I'm talking about here. Oh, for fuck's sake, come on. One long page, please. Hold on, guys. Jesus Christ, man! The manga used to be like, yeah. So, like, even here, right? Even here, see this kind of like wall thing, right? Like him being crashed against the wall like that. It really does remind me of the episode of the first chapter, right? It reminds me a lot of the first chapter. You see this kind of thing here where he's pressed against the wall, you know? It's that same kind of like circular, like, I mean, obviously it's not massively like deep. I don't think it could just be an artistic choice, but I do think that there's an argument here. I think there's an argument here, not necessarily that it's a regression, but again, I feel like we talk about this every week now, but there is a restatement of things, or a reaffirmation of certain things that Okarun has chosen across the first saga, that he has to kind of stand on business and decide now that he he kind of agrees with what he did, or he knows that he made the right choice. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not. I don't think it's a 1-to-1 necessarily. I just think that there is an element in the situation that he's in, which not only kind of harkens back to that powerlessness that he felt at this point in his time, where he didn't have control of his powers, where he was unable to stand up and fight for somebody that he cared about, for Momo, harkening back to that artistically, but also thematically, and combining the two of those together in a moment, even if it's not identical, even if it's not intended by the author, doesn't change the fact that these are things that we can latch onto, look at, and say, okay, I can see the connective tissue between what was and what is, and how that all feeds into the same kind of trajectory, right? So if you think about like this, in a lot of ways, the best way that I can kind of view what's happened with the amnesia thing is it's almost a re-examination or a deconstruction of the notion of Momo and Okurun's relationship, right? We've spent a whole series building it, and then we get to the point where I think is just one step away from them completing the relationship and moving to that next official step. And then what we get is an arc dedicated to taking it to pieces and just making sure that these characters have that last opportunity to say, yes, this is what I want, and yes, I'm willing to fight for it, yes, I'm willing to throw everything at it, in order to realize its potential. To basically say that they made the right choices. And that's what you get with Ida, right? That's what you get with all of the Gigi stuff, the jealousy, the kiss, the Ida kiss. All of these things have happened before, and they're happening again. You know, I don't know how many arcs are left, if I'm honest with you, Ian. I mean, like, I'm just guessing. I mean, all of us are just guessing at a certain point about what's even the meaning of any of this stuff, right? But this is what it feels like to me. You know. That's true as well, Blissy. There is yeah. No, I mean, like, it's a difficult thing because my brain wants me to go in there, find these parallels, and use them as a kind of a way of validating my idea about what this arc is, for, right? In my brain, I want to see these things. So, like, this is... It's not even like, oh, that's a stretch, necessarily, right? I think that there is a stylistic and thematic reverberation, and which is in tune with both of these moments, right? Like, the frequency that both of these moments are on, artistically and thematically, both resonate with each other, right? I think that's true. I view that as true. I view that as interesting. Does that mean that it's necessarily intended? I don't know. Possibly not. But I kind of like that way of reading it. That's my analysis of the text. That's just the way that I believe that's what good media analysis is. I mean, sometimes a rake is just a rake, right? But sometimes it's not. Sometimes it has more meaning than that. And I think that there are a lot of parallels in this arc that don't necessarily have to have an exact ascribed meaning to them, right? A good example would be a good example of that, and we'll get to the actual chapter soon, guys. I'm cognizant of the fact that we're not on the chapter at the moment. Just give me a minute to kind of like to say my piece. What was it? It would be like 80 something. Is that correct? A bit earlier. 83. Where is it? That's again too early. Here we go. Right. So here, let me just grab the text, because I like, this is 30 minutes. Yeah, I've kind of taken to doing like almost like mini prelude intro kind of things, just to kind of cover some of the stuff before we get into it. Right. So like this moment, okay. Right. Like this moment. I know I'm rocking the support look today. 2 Chainz. This moment recently, where Okurun obviously says, unveils his heart, right? He unveils his heart and pushes possibly too much towards Momo, in order to get her to go on a date with him. And then he basically fucks it up. It's not a moment of like, it is an expression of sorts, but it doesn't come from the same place of just being honest. It's kind of dishonest in a way. He was almost trying to trick her into going on a date with him. And I get it. That's like you know what I mean? Like, it's not that awful what he did, because he's obviously a very confused individual at the moment, and he knows her heart arguably better than she does, right? So it's a confusing thing. He's running, he's got all of these emotions, whatever, right? Now, obviously, that harkens back to this moment, right? It connects itself thematically, emotionally, and visually to this earlier moment, where he told someone, anyone, for the first time, how he actually felt about Momo, right? So there's an expression element to that. There is a vindication element of that he breathed it into the world, and that made it more real. But on one hand, and this is what I mean when I say there's not an exact one-to-one parallel here, which you can say that means this, and that also means exactly the same thing, right? You can't look at both of these things and say both of these are identical in meaning, because there is no one's telling us the intention of it. You have to kind of dilute the meaning of it from the way that you analyze it, if that makes sense, right? So yes, you could say both of these moments are an expression of how he feels, and he's running in order to kind of like that this is like a moment that literally directly pulls us back to that moment. And partially, yes, but also you could say that it is an inverted parallel. Exactly, Nicholas, exactly. You could say that this is an inverted parallel. It carries the same feelings of frustration and going out on a limb to say or do the thing that you feel is right, and running and trying to burn off that energy. All of these things are central to Okurun as a character, and they obviously carry the same kind of emotional feelings and thematic feelings. But to what degree the text is trying to say to us one of these is a good thing and one of them is a bad thing, or maybe they're both good, maybe they're both bad, it's difficult to know exactly. All that we can do as the audience, as people who really want to dig in to Dandadan, is to see that, understand what it means for us to recognize these moments have happened before, to know what it makes us feel, right? What does that make you feel when you look at it? You know what I mean? And that parallel, when you see the parallels and you feel it and see it from your own mind's eye, you can determine what both of those moments mean, and you can determine whether or not that is actually a reference to something, or whether or not it what that moment means in comparison to the one that happened. Is it inverting it? Is it a direct parallel? Whatever, right? That's the kind of the beauty of this thing, and that's what I love about Dandadan just generally, right? Like a lot of the anime that I've engaged with can oftentimes lack a sophistication in the way that it wants the audience to emotionally engage with it. which Dandadan has, this sophistication. I'm not saying it's like high art, but who gives a fuck about that? About taste, right? Taste itself is almost exclusionary in my opinion. For me, this means something. This means something because that meant something, and because they both mean something. And the parallel that you can draw between them is down to you. So whether or not this thing here, this moment, is or is not in any way a parallel to the first chapter, or where Okrun was in the first chapter, literally unable to stand and fight. That was his whole thing in the first chapter. In that moment where he's pressed against the wall by the Serpos, he isn't able to fight. There's a destiny, a amazing, wonderful existence that is there in front of him. Something he fucking cares about, but he doesn't. And it's not even Dandadan. It's about emotions, right? And through fighting, it connects with a lot of the emotional turmoil the characters go through. But there's one thing that is a constant through line with Dandadan, a constant through line. If you care about something and you don't have the power to secure that, you need to make yourself better so that you can have the power, so that you can grow and train and have the power to secure the thing that you care about. And Okrun is at a low point here. He doesn't have those powers to secure the thing that he cares about, to stand and protect his friends, to protect the girl that he loves. He's powerless not only in this situation, but in life right now. He is powerless to even be recognized by the girl that he cares for. And that's what this means to me. In the same way that back then, Okrun also was powerless to protect Momo, was powerless to fight back, as he has always been throughout his life, powerless. And he partially was that because he never recognized his own actual inner power. His confidence, his lack of confidence always drew him a poor card. Because he was never able to be more than what he was, because he couldn't believe that he could be more than he is. And Okrun, right now, as of the last chapter, literally thinks that Momo and Gigi could be a couple, right? He is in this place, this mindset of serious confidence issues again, you know? And he needs to overcome it again. And it's not fair. It's not fair, right? But this is just the nature of his fight, of his plight. It's to be better, to be stronger, and to find, hopefully, some kind of inner power, because that is what inspires it in other people, right? Okrun's love for Momo and the way that she kind of changed his life is not just about the two of them. It's about it spreads to other people, and it creates ripples of goodness in the world. That's kind of the whole point. At least for me, it's just a good thing. And I think this is the point where we're at. I mean, it would be nice if Okrun did have some kind of literal inner power, something left from Turbo Granny, because then he could tap into that, hopefully. You know? Hopefully you could tap into that. Yeah, no, Shannon, this is what I'm saying. Yeah. I hope that is it. And he just needs to find it and recognize it and realize it. You know? And yeah, no, well, this is another thing, Homer, right? Like the question is he the same guy? Or is he better than that guy? What has he learned? Not through the powers, right? What has he learned? Who is he now? Is he still that same guy? Or like, and did were the powers the thing that defined him? Or was it him? You know? That's the question. All of these things are happening to him because it's, like I said, a deconstruction of Momo and Okrun's relationship, of their characters, of Okrun's character. They're tearing him down in a way, not to literally tear him down to the absolute bearings, right? To the foundations. It's tearing him down, in my opinion, so that he can recognize what is worth fighting for, you know? So that he can remain true to himself even as the world around him gets more complicated. Yeah. Well, I think that, again, I think that there is a reality to Dandadan as well, which is that, you know, sometimes you do need to have the power to secure these things you care about in the world. And that can't always just be just from inside. Or rather, you know, like, you need friends, right? You need friends that you care about. You need the ability for people to believe in you. All of these things. For Turbo Granny to leave some semblance of something behind in him, and for him to find that and tap into that because he deeply needs to activate something to protect someone or to save someone that he cares about, I think that is power. I think that is power, and I think that is a personal reward as well, a personal accomplishment. But yeah, sorry, I got carried away there with my point. Like, for me, like, the main reason that I kind of went over that there, is just because, like, I find every week we're kind of drawing parallels to things that have happened in Dandadan, and I don't want it to feel like we're just here pointing these out, either just because it's like, oh, see, thing we know, or because we are desperately looking to connect the dots. Even if you didn't, it doesn't matter. There are still new things happening here. It's the old stuff. The old stuff is being dragged forward, not necessarily to just kind of act as a callback. Who cares about that? Oh, chat, thank you. No, yeah, I always forget. Not just to act as a callback. Hi, Root. Sorry, I didn't see any of your messages because I was on live chat. No, top chat rather than all chat. I don't know why it cuts some people out. But I don't think that we're just here to kind of point out things that have happened before, and it's like, oh, look, see, this is a thing we've seen before, like a fucking Marvel movie, right? It's so that we can kind of re-examine these things, understand what it's saying about now, if it's saying anything at all, and then understand what that means for the characters, you know? And I think that Tatsu knows his story. Obviously, he knows his story, he knows his characters. It's a fairly tightly woven story. So seeing these moments and these parallels, it says more about Dandadan. Just by merit of it being there, it says more about Dandadan than you would think, beyond just, oh, thing I've seen before, you know. So because we do that all the time, and I just want to cover that it's for a reason beyond just thing we know, you know. Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, guys, I think that trying to guess what happens next in Dandadan is a fucking impossibility. Hi, Toaster. Hi. It's just an impossibility. I can't fucking do it. It's too hard. Like there's the Seal Man now, you know. It's good that the barber is seemingly on our side. I like that, because it all but guarantees that my boy Kinta has got his glow up. You know? Yeah, I mean, even then, I don't know that I'd necessarily call it a prediction as much as I would call it a... what would I call it? I don't know, like just an evolution, right? I didn't predict Seal Man. I know. With his fucking... with his bikini. With his fucking... his thong. The seal. The seal with his thong. SEAL Team Dicks. There you go. SEAL Team Dicks. By not predicting that. Alright, you're all very funny. No way, you just said that. Yeah, I just said that. Yeah, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about it? I expect you all to take back your comments. I expect you all to take back your fucking comments after that. Right, alright. So, everybody who's saying, I can't believe you just said that, I need more positive affirmation than that, alright? No, fuck you. That's fucking hilarious. Fuck you. No, fuck you. That's funny. I don't care. You did. That's true, Empire. You did guess. You did predict the barber guy thing. You would say that. That's crazy. Yeah. No, no one can ban me. Thanks, Ian. Thanks, Ian. Thanks, Ian, specifically. That's not more positive. That is as ambiguous. If not arguably more ambiguous. It doesn't mean it's not wild. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Yeah. Nah, it's fair. You got me. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that these guys are like I think that the vampire thing was interesting because it wasn't literally about vampires, right? It was just about that kind of older European nobility kind of thing, you know, which is very vampiric in nature. Very Illuminati-esque here as the author. No, the only thing that I will predict for you, is that the 8th of June will be a hiatus. 8th of June will be a hiatus. I think the cat wants in. Nah, fuck it. I opened the door, she stood there, and then she just turned around and ran off. That she gets the one. She gets the one because like the chair's popularity is going through the roof. The chair's popularity is going through the roof. I can't take it anymore. She only gets the one. Who was thought to be an actual vampire. Interesting. That is interesting. Coming this week. I'm telling you, 8th. The 8th. It's going to happen. It's going to be the 8th. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of unsavory stuff. Anyway. Yeah, the 8th. Anyway, look, let's actually start the chapter. We've been here for 40 minutes, and we've not started the chapter. Now, I'm not going to take the blame for that. I'm going to blame... Who am I going to blame? I'll blame Hoops today. It's his fault that we haven't started the chapter. No, I was doing a whole thing, Toaster. You missed it. It's not my fault you missed it. If you're a true fan, you would have been here. Yeah, Matt, welcome. Perfect. The 40-minute mark is literally when we start. So that's good. Hastily improvise stream on the 8th. No, please don't say that, Tarantino. I'm begging you. Working. You think that's good enough? It doesn't matter. You're not late for the chapter anyway. I was working. That's crazy. Anyway, chapter starts from where the last one ended. the SEAL, SEAL Team Dix, as he's being called all around the internet. A lot of people are calling him that. You know? You missed a thing. Chat, did we clip it? We can't clip things anymore. Clipping's been removed from YouTube. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Clipping's gone. But anyway, SEAL Team Dix attacks Ida and Okurun. You're not happy. That is his name now. People are calling him that all over the internet. All around. Everybody. A lot of people calling him that. I don't know. I don't know how you hold... You don't hold me accountable, presumably. Presumably. Anyway, and they get out of the way of him and dodge him, but it takes a bit of a toll on them. And Okurun, my poor boy, gets slammed against the ground. I'm mad now. Please, guys. Please. No, I'm joking. I'm not joking. It was funny. All right. I thought it was funny. Maybe I'll do it later again. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, my poor boy, he's in pain. He's in agony. He can't breathe. And this guy, he's just fucking joshing around. Look at him. He's just fucking going crazy. And he's going to attack Okurun. I know. It's pretty ruthless, actually. Like, he just doesn't have... Man, it's been ages since he's had his power. I do think we are getting closer to him having his powers again. Like, very close. Surely. Very close. I don't know. I feel like I can't see this going on that much longer at this point. Just because it's been so long since they've had their powers. And obviously, I think that they're growing emotionally as a consequence of this. They have to learn what it means to be without them. But I do think that we're probably starting to get towards the latter half of this whole thing, right? We're getting towards the latter half of all of this stuff, because I think we're probably past the halfway point, honestly, because I feel like we've almost kind of got everything. We've kind of almost got everything that we can get emotionally out of the characters beyond just Okurun and Momo. I mean, even if you think about it, Momo isn't really getting... I do think that the character development that Momo gets here is going to carry over, right? And it almost feels like, at times, Tatsu wishes that you'd spent more time in that first era of Dandadan, where they were kind of like, not super close, like after Turbo Granny, the Turbo Granny incident, between that and the end of the Serpo arc, that kind of period of time where they're not really an item, and there's kind of a difficulty in getting closer to each other. I think that period of time, and again, I think that it's all perfect, but I do think that perhaps some of this comes from the fact that he didn't get to explore some of that angst. I don't know. But regardless, I do think that the characters, Okurun and Momo, that is, and Gigi and Ida, to be fair, are probably going to be getting through something. Like, they're going to get something out of this experience. Like, character growth-wise. I think that next week we're probably going to head back to Momo at this rate. But I don't know. I just can't see it going for that much longer. I feel like we've... I don't know. It doesn't matter. Let's just focus on the chapter. Because if we don't, we're not going to get anywhere. Anyway, my boy, he can't breathe, and then he's about to be attacked again. But fortunately, Ida uses her hair to grab him and to pull him out of the way, which is the whole acro silky thing, right? Is using her hair, and then that fucking dweeb, the black barber, comes in with his scissors and he cuts her hair, separating her from Okrun, which seems to be the goal of the fight, is to keep the two of them separated, because they want, presumably, they don't know that Okrun doesn't have Turbo Granny's powers. Now, I imagine that there are two things. Either two things are happening here. They have bad information, which doesn't seem like their thing, which could be intentional. It could be CSG. If CSG has a bone to pick with Turbo Granny, I don't think that he would want necessarily for Vlad to. I don't think he would necessarily want Vlad to have those powers, perhaps. So it could be intentional misinformation from CSG's side, depending on what his actual goal is here, because none of us know, right? I feel like this whole thing is one big fucking experiment on his part, just to see what happens. I don't know, but either that or Okrun does still have some degree of residual power inside of him. Which begs the question: what happens when someone gets their powers taken from them? Either that, or did Turbo Granny leave something behind for him? I don't know. But he's ice skated onto the scene with scissors, and you shouldn't really ice skate with scissors. It's very dangerous, in my opinion. So that's already kind of a red flag for this guy. He clearly doesn't care about safety procedures. You know, there are kids around. So that's pretty bad. I don't think that I don't know. The weirdo guy probably wasn't sent by CSG. I think he's the powerful person that they spoke about. I mean, CSG said that he wants to befriend the gang. They've made fuck all effort to try and actually do that. So I don't know what the hell. I don't know what's even happening at this point. Like, what? They've not even tried to befriend them. So I don't know what that even means. There's so many characters. There's so many characters that, like, some of this stuff feels almost side questy, you know? Safety's on Ricky's name for a reason. That's true. I don't run with scissors. It's very important, you know? Yeah, maybe, but presumably he sent these guys as well. I don't know. None of this really, I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know. I have no clue, honestly. But anyway, slices her hair and Okrun goes flying. Well, they're from Vlad, aren't they? And that's Vlad's personal guard. I don't know. From Vlad specifically, maybe. Again, maybe they just have bad information then regarding Turbo Granny's powers. You know? Yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know. It's a mystery. Yeah, no, that's a good point, to be fair. I mean, has the Princess Peach, has she had anything to do with Vlad? And Hase as well. I don't think he's had anything to do. Yeah, but then fucking the Nug Lover has had something to do with those characters, so I don't know. I don't know what the factions look like here. I feel like we are in the middle of a plot that is a grand mystery still. Like, why anything is being done outside of the ultimate yokai, I don't know. Just for the factions, I know. I didn't prepare. Honestly, the detective board was becoming out of sorts. It was getting harder and harder to actually preload the thing. So we might need to come up with another solution for the detective board. I don't know. CSG works for Vlad. I mean, I don't know. I mean, does CSG really work for Vlad? I suspect that he's using Vlad. Yeah, no, I don't think Look, Vlad is not the big boss of this, right? Big boss. All right, Vlad is not the big boss of this situation. He just isn't sophisticated enough. You know, yeah, no, I know that he's operating as a consultant of sorts, but I don't think that he's just doing this as a fucking job. I just second floor basement. I just don't think he's doing that as a job. I think CSG has a ulterior motive. You know. Well, maybe. I mean, it's too soon to sell. I mean, I think that CSG has ulterior motives. I suspect that he's trying to test it, to test his abilities. I also, perhaps it could be a matter of seeing how far a vessel can be pushed with how many powers before he succumbs to it, right? Like, because he's already becoming monstrous. Yeah, I suspect that Vlad needs to know more about the Dandadan. And I don't know, maybe the Dandadan is kind of like the friends we made along the way. No. Maybe the Dandadan has some kind of intellectual, philosophical kind of understanding of life, and for CSG, the man who wants to know everything, for him it would be crucial to understand this, like the great big question to existence, perhaps, or some kind of existence, like the building blocks of existence. He wants to understand these things, perhaps, and this could be a way of unlocking that. I don't know, right? But my point is that CSG, I just don't believe that his plans are so mundane as to involve being a consultant for a guy to get all these powers, when he's kind of a boring ass. He's kind of a boring ass guy, right? Vlad looks like a bitch, I'm gonna be honest with you. He looks like a kind of boring ass bitch. You know what I mean? He's just a dude. No, the ultimate villain is this dude. This dude from Pennsylvania. Spookiest state. That's where all the vampires come from. Pennsylvania. Whoa. At least he's not wearing a thong, wasn't he? Was he not in his underwear? Was bro not in his underwear? No, he was. He was wearing a thong. They're all... Oh, no, he's not. No, he's just wearing normal undies. No, he's just wearing tidy whities. Walter White pants. He's wearing Walter White pants. Yeah. That's crazy. So stupid, dude. Evolving his Pokemon into shiny versions. Maybe. Maybe. But again, I feel like that's a bit of a mundane thing. Because he said, what do you know about... Look, in this series, right, Dandadan as a term has been used twofold. One, just randomly as sound effects, where something will go dadan or dandadan, just as a sound effect, because someone got smacked over the head for some reason. And then the other time that it was utilized is, what do you know about the Dandadan? The end. We never heard fucking anything beyond that. They didn't tell us. I've heard of it, but he didn't tell us. You know? So what is the Dandadan? How does this guy, how does Vlad fit into the Dandadan in this situation? What the fuck is it? It's clearly something that CSG is involved in, or something that he is engaged with. The more material your underwear has. That's pretty good, isn't it? Hey, that's not bad, is it? He's just a manga fan. He could be, I suppose. He just likes Dandadan. His favorite character is CSG in Dandadan. He wants to open. Maybe. Maybe, but again, I just think that for him, all of his goals have to be somewhat connected to something a bit loftier, right? Like I feel like they can't just be for the sake of anything like fucking profit based. I don't know. You can't be your own favorite character. Yeah, watch me. Watch me. Man, we've been dealing with CSG for quite a long time, by the way. We've been dealing with CSG, by the way, for a very long time. That's wild. What the fuck did why was CSG with the Kerr in the first place? What the hell is he doing? Why was he with the Kerr? They were invading Earth. What the fuck did he want? It must have something to do with yokai powers. Man, this was like 114 chapters ago. He ain't done shit. No, he's been doing lots of stuff in the background, presumably. We've been dealing with this guy for like what? For like what? How long? Like half the manga? He's been there for half the manga at this point? The fuck is his problem? He's a fucking ass. He's an asshole. Bro's an asshole. Presumably. He's just a humble baker. He was with the Kerr the whole time as well. I think obviously he's interested in yokai, right? Like something to do with yokai. Off the manga go, man. Oh my god, dude. No. It's crazy. It's been so long, dude. Oh my god. I'm gonna crash out. We've got a chapter to do. I am crashing out a little. Yeah, I'd probably try. I'm gonna be honest. The pastries are probably pretty fucking good. I'm gonna be real. Like, if this guy knows all these things, he probably knows how to make a fucking like a mean pastry. You know, he probably does. I can't fault him there. I mean, he could probably do all kinds of cooking, to be honest. Is that so bad? No, he's a fucking dick. He's a dick. I don't know what his problem is. And all he does is hang out with the worst people. You know? He gave fucking Nuglover an internship, for crying out loud. Get real, guys. Come on. Get real. God. God damn. When was the last time that we, when was the last time? Right, so the last time that we saw Oak Room with his powers was chapter 163. No. No, it's fine. It's fine. Pan. I quite like that. Yeah, that is good. Yeah. We wouldn't have met Shinobi. No, well, you make a good point. He makes a good argument. I'm not saying that he's completely wrong. I'm not saying he's a complete wrong'un. Am I? I'm not saying he's a complete wrong'un. That's true. He did insult Nuglover. I do respect that. Although it felt, I must say, part of me enjoyed like, you know what I mean? Like, I did enjoy making fun of Nuglover, so part of me misses him a little bit. Foreshadowed in chapter 35. Was he? Was he? Okay, chapter. No, I don't think Nuglover is dead. I think that he's going to come back, and part of me thinks that he might end up betraying CSG and helping the guys. Right now, right now he's probably like washing dishes and stuff in Vlad's palace. You know what I mean? Not quite pomade actually. I've not actually finished the chapter yet. Alright, I've not actually finished the chapter yet. I've been yapping too much. We're an hour in. Okay, right, okay, back to the chapter. Right. So he cuts Ida's hair and she basically gets disconnected from Okarun, and he lets her know that he's the blah 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 of blah 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 land. He's the most important guy ever. And he's all like, now it's your turn. Now it's your turn. Now you tell me something about you. And yeah, they keep fighting. And despite appearances, he's pretty intense. He's an intense guy. I love Ida's general kind of like style when she's fighting. I really enjoy her constant banter. You know, she's kind of the Spider-Man of the gang. She's just constantly just like, can you fuck off, please? It's like, what the fuck is going on? Why are you just constantly chatting mid-fight? Yeah, then kindly leave. It's like, you just leave me alone. She's constantly bantering with people in the middle of a fight. You know? Yeah, he's suffered a lot of emotional damage. Yeah. Yeah, it means nothing. The physical is nothing. Yeah, well, I mean, he handles it with grace, to be fair. But he's been getting the shit kicked out of him. I feel really bad for him because he's just, at this point, he's just a dude who's pretty fucking tough, but a dude nonetheless. You know? Yeah, shit talking to get advantage or just for style. Yeah. Yeah, she's kind of like a DMC character. But anyway, the Leatherface people with hockey sticks come at him, and you know he puts up a good fight. My boy puts up a good fight, but look at them; they're just beating him down. Yeah, isn't this a little unfair? It is pretty fucking unfair. I agree with him. I absolutely agree with him. It's bogus, dude. And then the SEAL comes and SEAL Team Dix comes and he just headbutts Okarun and sends him fucking flying. Then this guy is rotten, dude. Look at him. Look at him. He's fucking disgusting, dude. Look at his fucking whole thing. Ugh. I hate him so much. This guy, I don't like him. I've decided I don't care for him. Foolishness, Ira. Yeah. Yeah. Super sexy style. I know. Exile. Like, I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. Actually, we're almost on it. You know. Anyway, he does that, and he basically does like a combo. He combos him. No, but that is what it is, isn't it? You know, in like fighting games, or like character action games where you start juggling a character, where you knock them in the air and then you kick them up in the air and you keep hitting them whilst they're in the air, like the juggle. He fucking juggles him. It's brutal. Look at this shit. He smacks him off his feet, and then he comes under him, knees him, fucking straight in the chin. Sends him flying up into the air, and then he starts fucking juggle comboing him. It's horrible. Like, this is like, imagine, I know, Nerf SEAL Team Dix. This is what I'm saying, though. Like, imagine, this is like your favorite guy, right? This is like your favorite character. And then this fucking dweeb, this disgusting dweeb in a thong comes along and fucking bodies him. It's brutal. It's actually really brutal to watch. It's quite upsetting, generally speaking, because this is my boy. This is my son, right? And he's just fucking bodying him. Yeah, it's ruining it for everyone. And he's wearing a thong as well. He's not even fucking... It's just extra disrespectful. It's extra disrespectful, and he just fucking pummels the poor fucking guy, and sends him flying into a wall. Look at this. Do you know how hard you have to be thrown into a wall for all of the fucking concrete and energy to be whooshed in front of you? Look at this shit. Look at it. Yeah, how much fucking energy that needs to be expended for that. I'm surprised he's not dead. I'm surprised he's not dead. Fuck, dude. Dude, no. I'm so fucked up, dude. Like, he must have some kind of, like... It could just be manga shit, or it could be something else. Like, it could be that he's actually got powers or something still. I don't know. I think that that the nakedness thing is definitely... the nakedness thing is definitely a thing with this group of people. I'm curious to see what it might mean later on down the line. I don't know. We can't really know these things until the arc is a little bit more complete. You know? Yeah, I mean, Nicholas, I agree, but as was pointed out on the Discord earlier, by the way, guys, Patreon link in the description. Join my Patreon as a free member to get access to the Discord. It's the best place on the internet for Dandadan. And, you know, something that we've seen recently on the Discord is that we've had a kind of influx of people who are looking, because obviously the discourse surrounding Dandadan at the moment has been a little bit up and down. So people have been kind of coming over to the Discord to find something a little bit more hope-filled, a little bit more focused on just Dandadan, more so than the meta arguing around the justification for certain story decisions in Dandadan. And it's been really cool to see a new influx of people joining the community and just enjoying being there. It's been very good. It's been very enjoyable, at least, to see people, a kind of a new wave of people just jump in and just yap about Dandadan. Right? It's a great thing to see. It's very wholesome. I'm very pleased about it. But if Reddit's not doing it for you guys, if Reddit's not doing it for you, you know where to go. Patreon link in the description. Join as a free member to get access to my Discord. It's the best place on the internet for Dandadan. Simple as that. I don't know what would happen if Okurun accepted defeat, to be honest. I mean, something. Maybe. The question is whether he has powers or not. That's the big question at this point, is whether or not Okurun has some kind of lingering power. You know? And it's the situation here as well. I hate this Seal guy. Oh, man. Look, this is Seal Team Dix, this guy. This is the guy. This is the guy. You see what I mean? Anyway, they tell Okurun gets absolutely like slam dunked against the wall, and they tell him to acknowledge his defeat. Now that's not my boy. My boy Okurun. He isn't about that. He isn't about that lifestyle. I don't. You know what I mean? He doesn't. One thing that you can say about Okurun is that he fights. He's a fighter. You know. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. I think it's a confidence thing more so than it's a, you know, thing. I think that he just doesn't have the. I also don't think that he really has the absolute spiritual energy for it. I mean, like, he's not a prodigy, anything like that. He's just a he's a wild super chat. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know what to tell you. But anyway. Oh yeah, sea lion, man. We're gonna call him a seal because I'm not calling him a sea lion. All right. Yeah, I really don't know whether or not, like, that moment is a confusing one, because the question is whether or not that moment was an indication, that he does have. You did not just say seamlessly. Mods, timer out. I don't know whether or not that moment in the hallway was an indication of CSG being aware that he does have powers still, or whether or not it's his surprise that he doesn't have Turbo Granny's powers. Fuck knows, man. I don't know. Nobody knows. It's like, you know? I mean, presumably, he doesn't have her powers. I just don't see. I don't see how Okurun could possibly have her powers. Look, maybe she left something behind, right? But why would CSG? How could CSG have known that Okurun gave up his powers to Turbo Granny? And when he did that thing in the hallway, up until that point, there was no way that he could have known. There is no way he could have known anything. You know what I mean? Like he couldn't have known that Okurun lost his powers in that period of time. And he already, in his mind, he already knew that Okurun had Turbo Granny's powers because he saw them literally, like, what, a day or two before, right? Like he fought with him. He knew that he had Turbo Granny's powers. Why would he be surprised that he has Turbo Granny's powers? If he was surprised at something, surely he'd be surprised that he doesn't have her powers anymore. And if that's the case, what changed between then and now that would make CSG pass any information about Okurun having her powers? Do you know what I mean? Something doesn't fucking add up. And as much as I would love Okurun to have some kind of leftover power from Turbo Granny, and maybe that is the case, maybe that is something that's the case, where are they? Nobody apparently can see. I don't think CSG was surprised that he did have Turbo Granny's powers when he already thought he had Turbo Granny's powers beforehand. You know what I mean? I just don't see how that all makes sense. I think that it's quite possible. That that this is a case of misdirection. You know, I think it would be really fucking cool. I don't think there's a mole necessarily, maybe, but I don't think there is. I think that it's just CSG. I think has grander plans than this. It's quite possible. What would be really cool is if Turbo Granny showed up at some point, and then you wouldn't have any question regarding who has her powers. You know, because she's gonna have to show up at a certain point. Turbo Granny's gonna have to step up, and step in, and save someone. Probably Momo, but possibly Okurun, because, you know, to be fair, I think Okurun and Turbo Granny's relationship has always been one of her trying to get him to realize her full powers potential. So him being able to see the true power of Turbo Granny would be pretty fucking badass. Manjiro boss fight, yeah, that'd be crazy. I'm confused about anything else, right? And I think Turbo Granny has to twofold. One, she needs to show up at some point and save somebody. And two, at some point, Turbo Granny needs to willingly give Okurun her powers back. Those are things that have to happen in the story. You know? I just don't... You know what I mean? But this is my point. But like, did he actually mean it though? When he admitted defeat, like, was it like a genuine thing? I don't think it was. I think it was just the kind of, yeah, cool, you win. You know what I mean? Wait, is Okurun the only one who can wield the Ogre Club? Gigi or Okurun? What, Okurun, the traitor? No, I don't, Nicholas. I don't think that there's any way on God's green earth that Turbo Granny dies, because she's she's the mascot character, dude. I don't know. I know that's a fucking boring ass answer, but I don't think that's something that would be allowed to happen in right now. Not like by anyone specifically in charge, but by anybody with any kind of like desire or aspirations for their story to keep going. I just don't believe that they'll pass Turbo Granny. You know, I just don't believe it. I don't see it. We don't know anything about her either, man. We don't know anything about Turbo Granny. She has this fucking history with CSG. What about it? And why is she not told anyone? You know? There's more happening here. There's more happening here than we're aware of. And Turbo Granny is more connected. The powers of Turbo Granny are in question. What the fuck are they? What is the point? I know, I want a backstory. Yes, kill. I want a backstory. I want to know what the nature of her fucking powers are too. Right? Why the fuck are they so powerful? And if that's the case, why did she get her shit pushed in by Momo and Okurun? What's going on? What the fuck is going on, dude? Yeah, no, Danny, I think that is probably what it would be. I think it would be a matter of passing on her powers and not her aura. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know. We can't even talk about the idea, the notion of killing off Turbo Granny when we know fucking nothing about her. You know? Yeah, but even if she got tricked by them, it's like, you know what I mean? Like it was her in combination with the spirit that she was looking after. That's what made her even stronger, right? Like, she was pulling her power from the location that spirit was in. My point is, there's clearly more going on here than like, maybe when Tatsu first started writing it, Turbo Granny was just this character. I think we've evolved beyond that now. You know? Yeah, no, I agree with you, Zaustus. Like Okurun's real gift is that he doesn't stop pushing. Even now, as these people come up and they start talking about Momo and Gigi, they tell them, they say that they've been captured in the dinosaur exhibit. Now, I don't believe they've actually been captured off screen or anything like that. I think that they are just like, oh, trap's been sprung, we've definitely got them, even though they haven't actually got them both. You know. No, this is it, Blissy. I mean, it could be a matter that, like, over the years, she kind of gave up or weakened herself in order to help the tunnel-bound spirit. I don't know. But even at that, like, well, the question is, why would she have ever settled somewhere? What was she doing there? You know, I'm curious about all of these things. And there's a lot to go on still with this stuff. And also, they're definitely not going to do anything like killing off Turbo Granny before Momo is properly back. if they were to do anything like that, because she needs to know as well. Momo has been benched. Momo has been benched, right? Like, that's the thing. The actual Momo Ayase that we know has been benched completely for now. I have no doubt that the character growth that she's going through here is going to get folded into her character as well. But she's already kind of overcome a lot of this stuff, right? She's already overcome a lot of this stuff emotionally. She's already grown significantly. So the reversion to the previous version of Momo is even the character growth that she does get through that is going to be kind of like limited in how far you can really go with that, because like the goal for her is to become the Momo we already know. So you can't really say that all the character growth is going to mean something when she's growing in kind of the same dimensions as she previously was, which to me means she can't stay like this for very long, because not only is Momo a lot of people's favorite characters, myself included, but she's also Tatsu's favorite character. So I feel like he probably wants to get her back sooner rather than later. So the fact that he's doing this at all, the fact that Tatsu has decided to go this path at all, is crazy. It's crazy. It's kind of ballsy, to be fair. I've really enjoyed this arc so far, just generally, but I can't imagine that it's going to stay like this for much longer, because the questions are starting to mount up. The emotions are starting to, I think, have already peaked for Gigi and for Aida. I think that the emotions for those two have kind of peaked a little bit. And I think we're going to start moving towards the goal at this point, you know? Yeah. I mean, let's trust her feelings over her image. Yeah, no, exactly. No, true. Yeah. Exactly. But as Okurun is knocked against the wall, he still manages to speak. And he mutters out a message about Momo to the villains. And he lets them know that they won't get away with it. And if they lay a hand on Momo, they won't get away with it. It's a threat. He's threatening them, essentially, right? And this is, again, that kind of... Number one, I think there's two really interesting things here. Number one is the way that Aida responds here is kind of like... I think I do think that ideally we're going to be able to get through some of this stuff. I think that we're ideally going to be able to get through some of this Aida stuff without having to kind of have full-blown conversations about it. In my mind, I think Aida and Gigi just getting it and understanding it is enough for me to be... I think that's almost better. I think that's almost better than it's almost better than having to have a conversation. It's not happening on 8th of June. That's going to be a hiatus week, actually. You know. Maybe she's just surprised. I mean, you're quite... I think that it's probably just surprise. You know. Fuck. Goddamn. Look, I mean, come on. Right, come on, guys. Right, look at this. Right? If you lay a hand on Miss Ayase, you won't get away with it. Right? Okay? And he's against this wall, like I was saying earlier at the beginning. Remember what I was saying at the beginning of the stream, guys, right? About this connective tissue between two different moments. The kind of it doesn't. It's kind of what Empire said. All right, I don't know if you prefer to go over your Discord name or not. But I'll just call you Mighty Empire now, so that people can immediately associate you, right? But it's like what I was saying earlier, right? And it's like what Empire was saying a minute ago. Feeling is really what matters. Emotions are really what matters in this story, right? So if you can emotionally transcribe this moment onto the moments that have happened before, and kind of create that through line, whether it's visually or whether it's emotionally, thematically, whatever. You can create a kind of, not just a ripple, but an understanding, a better understanding of what's happening, what this moment means to the character, because you've already seen it, you know what it meant to the character, so you can know what it means to the character. When he says this, he's slammed against the wall in the same kind of capacity as he was in chapter 1, and he says what he says. He says, like, specifically about laying a hand on Momo. It's literally what he says, man. Look, don't lay a hand on her. If you hurt her, you won't get away with it. It's the same fucking shit, dude. This is what I mean. I didn't even know that this was here until I just went searching for it, because you can feel the same moment. This is the greatest vindication. This is the greatest vindication that I've ever had. This literally vindicates what I was saying like an hour ago, right? It's the same shit, dude. Like, it's not about it being exactly identical in the enemies or anything like that. It's about that push, man. Like, look, he's literally saying the same stuff. It's the same words. It's not just about it looking the same. It's about this idea. It's almost like he's half conscious here. It's like he's half conscious here, and this is like a kind of, not just a callback to what happened, but the kind of, this is always what this guy will default to, man. This is always what he would default to in this kind of situation. It's the same fucking thing, dude. I swear to God. I didn't even know that this, I assure you, I promise you, before we just look for it there, I was just looking at this, the fucking, the crack in the wall, and how that reminded me of this. I didn't know he literally said the same fucking line. The same line. And he mutters it out here, half conscious. He's still pushing, he's still standing up, even if he can't. Even if he can't fight. Yes, exactly. And that Blissy, that is the difference. That's the difference. That first time, he did crumble. Right? He did crumble. And he had the powers. He had the powers back then. Back then, he crumbled still, but he had that security of being able to actually fight in some way. He just didn't have the will to do it. Now, it's inverted, right? The intention is the same, except the will, the man beneath the powers, is not, right? It's not the semblance of a hope of a tomorrow. It's understanding his yesterday, and he knows what he had, and he knows what he needs, and so he knows what he will fight for going forward. And that's what this is. It's the fucking willpower of the guy. So he doesn't give up. He doesn't give up, and he doesn't have the power to actually fight back in this situation. He isn't really fucking capable of it. But he doesn't stop. He's literally saying here, this guy, look, I mean, come on. Here, he literally fucking says that I actually don't think I can do this. He, in a way, admits defeat. Here, he doesn't even say it. He could just say it. Oh my god, dude. I didn't even know that was there. That's fucking crazy. He literally says the same line. I'm losing my marbles right now in real time. Someone put that in the parallels chat on the Discord. Patreon link in the description. Join as a free member to get access to the Discord. It's the best place on the internet for Dandadan. This was the greatest vindication. The greatest vindication that I've ever had in this series. I swear to God. Right? The reason that I even brought that up is because at first, right, the only reason earlier that I even brought up the parallels thing and we did that fucking 15-minute talk about it is because part of me felt a little bit insecure about how much I'm tying things back. Like, I'm looking at a crack in the wall and Okarun being smashed against the wall, and I'm going, oh, that kind of reminds me of this thing that happened fucking 200 and something chapters ago, right? And it's like, right, do I just know this too well to the point where I'm actually damaging my experience of it by drawing parallels between things that don't exist? Fuck no, I'm not. Because it fucking exists. It's fucking real. And we've just seen that in real time. Thank you, Tatsu. Thank you. Thank you for this. What a great, glorious moment. God damn, dude. That was amazing. That was amazing. That was fucking great. That was a great man. Sometimes the stars align, dude. I tell you, sometimes the stars align. I can't wait for that 8th of June hiatus. I'm telling you, it's coming. Tatsu, please make it so. Research this all before the stream. That's very brave of you to assume that I do anything before the stream. I was late by 2 minutes today because I just didn't want to prep my lighting setup. It's a whole fucking thing. I just didn't want to do it, so I left it to the last minute. So I was scrambling around like, I need to be ready. I'm gonna be late. Where are my headphones? You know? Yeah, my ego after Big Momo Day was fucking crazy. Anyway, what was I saying? Sorry, I got really caught up in that. That was like a fucking excellent moment right there for me. I really enjoyed that just happened on screen. So yeah, it's again the same kind of things, the same kind of rhythms that we're seeing, time and again across the series, and here we have it again, where he tells them the exact same thing that he said back then, which shows again that not only is Okarun the same guy that he always was, but also he would make those same decisions again, and he's making those same decisions again. And in fact, if anything, he's doubling down on them now. And then this guy says, this is why I hate the lower classes. And my opinion of him just fucking plummeted. He's a fucking classist pig, dude. He's a bourgeoisie pig, dude. It's just not right. Big Momo Day. You know, you should go back and watch the Big Momo Day stream. Big Momo Day was great. Big Momo Day was pure. Eat the rich dinosaurs. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But another thing, as during this, he basically is calling him a liar, right? And Ida elects to give up her powers in order to protect Okarun's powers. They refuse. They're not interested in it. They're interested in Okarun's powers, right? And the SEAL Team Dix grabs Okarun by his hair and starts lifting him up. It's fucked up. Look at him. That shit's fucked up. That ain't on. Not on my Christian Minecraft server. And she's like begging essentially for him not to do this. I mean, the fact that she was willing to give up her powers to me is such an important part of this interaction, because these powers mean a lot to them, and especially for Ida, right? Like, she literally died, and the powers brought her back to life. The aura of Acro Silky brought her back to life, and she would elected to carry that with her, and she's willing to give that up to protect Okarun. Like, you can't say that she doesn't feel how she feels and genuinely feel it, because she does. You know, she really does. Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah, you're right. he did do that thing about the class, didn't he? Disgusting. No, she wouldn't die again. I don't know. I think that it to me it's kind of like jump starting a battery, right? Once you get it back up and running, it'll start to run on its own power. I don't think that taking her powers away would kill her. I think that it would just take her powers away. I mean, the nature of the powers is also a bit confusing, just generally, because there's obviously like a part of the person that originally possessed the powers that lingers on inside of them, right? Like she acts as though Akra Silky is almost its own entity, despite the fact that the actual Akra Silky has moved on. So they're all kind of like in a bit of a gray zone, I feel. But yeah, I don't think so. Anyway, so they're after the powers of Turbo Granny, and then a mysterious figure shows up, asking why it's so slippery and why this floor is all frozen. And then also asks the real question, and everybody's surprised, right? The real question is why those people have such weird hairdos. And here we go. Whoever this guy is, this mystery barber, thank you, sir. Thank you. You showed up at the right time, buddy. You showed up at the right time. A hero, one could say. And, you know, the fact that this guy is, and I don't know, maybe he was sent by, oh my god, you're right. His forearms are fucking horrifying. Jesus. What the fuck? Scissor Sister. That's crazy. Yes. That's his name. Scissor Sister. I love that. That's amazing. Now, I mean, look, the fact that he's here, I do wonder, because he was, yeah, this is it. I think that he was sent by Seiko and that lot. And if that's the case, then maybe Vamola and Kinta have just been taken off the board by them, right? Sweeney Todd. I know, that would be sick, wouldn't it? It could just be that he's taking them off the board. Look, if I presume this means Kinta's fine. However, I worry that he might not have gotten a new hairdo. I'm worried about that now. I'm worried that he might have removed his hair. He might not have removed his horrible hairdo and given him something cooler. If they haven't, if Kinta doesn't have a better hairdo, I'll be furious. I'll be furious. I'll riot. Okay? I don't have to do it, but I will. Meal Team 6. That's ridiculous. Well, now that's ridiculous. He's gonna fucking kick the shit out of them. I hope so. The same beard as Sweeney Todd. That'd be sick, wouldn't it? Messy spaghetti. No, I really. This is a good question. Why? He must have done his hair. Now he must have done his hair, or he wouldn't have been covered in what presumably was hair dye. He must have done his hair. Thank God. Oh my God, I forgot about the hair dye thing. Yeah, he must have done his hair. Yeah. Yeah. There's not a question anymore. There's not a question anymore. He must have done his hair. Oh, thank God. I was worried for a second there, guys. I was really worried for a second there. I know. I really enjoyed the Cast and Kells' interpretations of what he would look like. The fucking Guy Fieri look killed me. Like, fucking rook me out. You know what I mean? It's wild. Now it's crazy what people will come up with over on the Discord. People, you know, it's at the point now where I'm pretty certain. I'm I'm pretty certain that that it's hard to top some of the stuff that is passed around over there, to be honest. Patreon link in the description. Join as a free member to get access to the Discord. It's the best place on the internet for Dandadan. And you know, it's great to, like I said earlier, it's great to see so many people who have kind of been a bit negatively impacted by the general kind of vibe that a lot of online communities have taken about Dandadan recently. It's hard to keep up the hopium when everybody around you is telling you that the story is dog shit. I don't believe that. We don't really believe that. And we all have a good time over on the Discord just generally. So remember, guys, Patreon link in the description. Join as a free member to get access to the Discord. It's the best place on the internet for Dandadan. I mean, so many people who are there have been there for like a year. And it's exciting. It's a very exciting time to see so many new people coming over. And it's pleasure. You know, like the people there are generous and interested and interesting as well. And to be honest, the main reason that we can do half of the stuff that we do here there is because there are people who are supporting the channel. You know, and it's important. It's important for me anyway that I do what little I can to make sure that people are aware that these people are doing that. So I'm just going to shout out all of the yokai power tier users, as is the weekly procedure, because they deserve it. They deserve more, but this is what I can do right now. It's so hard. I am working on content as well, guys, I promise. So that's Tim Kai, the amazing Pickle Man, 720, Angle, Blissy Cat, Chouse Grousington. Oh, is that new? Chouse Grousington. I think that's new. Hello. Welcome. Danny Dan, 5th Gram, Jersey Backy. Mother Support on summer break. Normal flavored jellies. Orbis 6565. Quentin Tarantado. Sarah. Spitty Guy Fan Club President. I hate that. I really hate that. Your favorite scented candle, and Zero. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. No, and everybody else on every other tier, everybody who's also there, just for free, you know. I appreciate it anyway. You know, like any amount of money spent to support the channel is crazy to me. Like that, the fact that there are people doing that is wild to me. Charles is a friend. Oh, he's a friend of yours, Danny. Danny is a friend of yours. That's really cool. I didn't realize. I didn't even. Have they just joined? Oh, they just joined the community. Holy shit! Seriously? Joined at Yokai tier. That's fucking bananas, dude. Yeah, never push yourself. Anybody, never push yourself. That's also really important, right? Like, it's important to me that we're all, you know, that we're all kind of like we back each other up, and make sure that everybody's okay. I know, like, obviously, it sounds ridiculous at times, but it's like, you know, as a community, we've got a lot of, I don't know. I think that community is a hard thing to come by, like, genuinely. So having that kind of opportunity to make sure that we're all doing the right thing and making sure that everybody's, you know, I wouldn't want anybody to feel like they need to or anything to me, right? Like, need to support the channel. As long as everybody else's bases are covered and you have a little bit of extra desire and disposable income to spend on it, by all means, it's your own money, obviously, but everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Like, so I appreciate it incredibly, more than you can imagine. I appreciate it. I genuinely don't know how to navigate patronage. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how to do it. I've never known how to do it. Oh, you've been talking me up in another server. Wow. Okay. All right. I mean, what? Thank you. This is something that actually that I've noticed. You know, like a couple of times, a few times now, people will bring other people to the community. We'll see other people. We'll bring other people to the community based on engagement in other communities, and to me, that is, you know, that's very cool. That's very cool. It's a very cool thing to see on my end, because it grows the community in a way that it's really cool to know that there are people who are kind of like bastions of or almost like ambassadors for the community out there, whether it's on Reddit, in other communities, whatever. If people feel like they need a space and we can offer that, that's really exciting to me. Janny, thank you, Janny. Thank you, Janny. You got hoops. Well done. Well done. Quick, post an image. Thank you, Janny, for the membership gift. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to see that you've tunneled your way out of Hollow Knight for a little bit. I'm really pleased to hear that, Empire. Very pleased to hear that, because I obviously you brought quite a few people over, and that to me is really cool. I saw, like, I do go onto the Reddit and have a look, but I did see what I presume was your message, because I could see that the profile pictures were the same. Very cool. Like, thank you. It's weird to me to think that there are people who talk about, like, for me, the best place on the internet for Dandadan thing kind of started as a bit of a meme, right? It was a bit of a joke, a little bit of a hoot, a little bit of a ha. And I think it's true. Like, I think that's the thing. I think it's true, because we actually don't like obsess over the negatives. Do you know what I mean? We don't obsess over the negatives. We try to stay positive, and there's a lot to be negative about in this existence, people. So focusing on the things you care about where you can, and not try to sully them with needless pessimism, I think is the best thing you can do for yourself. And remove yourself from environments that take away. Look, I love Dandadan. I think it's fucking amazing. Sometimes you need to just remove yourself from situations where people are trying to convince you don't like it. Actually, I think you don't like it. Like, shut the fuck up. How about you, instead of telling me the reasons that you don't like it, how about instead you fuck off and leave me alone? Maybe? I don't know. Like, you could do that. I'd be happy with that. I knew it. I knew you were playing Hollow Knight. Crazy. You know? Yeah, no, but this is also the thing as well. Sometimes you need to crash out as well. It's a safe calculated crash out, right? You know what I mean? It's like doing you know what I mean? It's like doing psychedelics, but you got to be in a controlled environment. It's safe. Right? You can do your thing. You can do your thing here. You know? I crash out at Dandadan all the time. All the time, man. I love it. I love crashing out about Dandadan. That moment of negativity, you start with that, and then it's kind of like, okay, how is this not how I immediately portrayed it to be in my initial reaction? And then you get time to work it out. But like going through the motions, the negatives, the positives, it's great. It's not the analogy I was expecting. No, it took me a second to decide to go through with it. It took me a second to decide to go through with it, you know? It happens sometimes. Sometimes these things slip out. Yeah, exactly. Like wild comparison. It's not that wild. I mean, come on, it's kind of, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm just trying to say it's a safe space. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a safe space. Is that a crime? If that's a crime, sue me. Please don't sue me. Shueisha, please. I'm begging you. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Don't say the pillar thing. Just say no to Dandadan. That's crazy that you'd say that. That you heard it here first, by the way. You heard it here first. Blissy wants you to say no to Dandadan. Say yes. Say yes. Always do Dandadan. If there's a stranger in the street offering you a volume of Dandadan, you take it. You take that volume. Bye-bye, Pickle. No. I hate that stupid emote. I hate that emoji. I hate it so much. Hey, kid, want some Dandadan? But I don't know why we're talking about this. I don't know how. This is your brain on Dandadan. That's wild. Yeah, we've got all the volumes you could possibly want right here. Yeah, exactly. The Dandadan is around the corner. No, that's not okay. That's crazy. No, my thing is nothing compared to that. I did not forget Pickle in the Pomade. I actually forgot to forget Pickle in the Pomade this time. Dandadan is crazy. That is crazy. Hey kid, want some Dandadan? As he opens a coat full of volumes. Full Okarun's glasses and different merchandise. Different Momo figures. Janny notes are back. Finally, I know. I've been all over the place without them. I do think that I need to find some way to light up this back area because look, it's too dark over there. Since I've revised, because I've revised my background significantly. You know, I revised my background significantly, and I feel like oh, that's kind of cute. Okay, I don't know whether or not that detracts too much though. I don't know whether or not that detracts too much. The turbo granny lamp is in the next room right now. The turbo granny lamp is in the next room right now. Also, my thing is not. There we go. I'm trying to work out the framing a little bit here, you know? Yeah, I needed a nightlight. Yes, I was scared of demons. By the I was scared of demons. By the way, guys, demons are real. Did you know that? Did you know that? And they'll come for you at night. You know that noise? You know that noise that you sometimes will like hear and you go, "Oh, it's just the house settling." It's not. It's demons and they're in your walls. They're in your walls. Yeah, I've still not figured out some of the layout of the room, if I'm completely honest with you. So it's not a finished product. I'm still moving stuff. I've just recently moved my desk forward so that I can actually take full advantage of my layout, right? Like you can see here and here. I'm trying to do some kind of stuff here with the actual framing of the room a little bit. You know, no, it's demons. I'm telling you, it's demons. You know, no, you can't clip. No, it is demons. He's in the wall. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But anyway, look how good it is. Look at my collection up there. It looks so cute. What's that? This. You want? Oh, wait 1 second. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize. I didn't realize that that's what you were looking for. That's what you were looking at. You're looking at this. You're looking at this. Well, this is a Safeties on Rookie mug. Merchandise from the Safeties on Rookie store, safetiesonrookie.com. Yeah, that's right. There's a website, safetiesonrookie.com, people. You can go there and you can purchase all kinds of different Safeties on Rookie stuff. We have merchandise of all different kinds. All different kinds. In fact, I'll pin that. I'll pin that right now. We have mugs with a variety of artwork. That's right, artwork done by the community for the community. As you can see here, we've got a Turbo Granny by Kells. We've got Safeties on Rookie on here. And yeah, that's just for drinking. Maybe you're not a thirsty guy. Maybe you don't drink much. Well, we've got this. What do you think? Turbo Granny hoodie. Bad luck hoodie. Now this one doesn't have the golden ball on it. Normally there's a golden ball on here. There's a prototype version. The other ones have golden balls. They come in bone, they come in white, they come in black, they come in all different kinds of colors. You can get zip, you can get pullover. That's right, people. Artwork. This artwork is by Kells in the community. By the community, for the community. And then also, what's that? Maybe that's not your kind of jam. Maybe you prefer work from the artist's angle. Well, we've also got that as well. We've got a Murmur ISA hoodie as well, right here, guys. Safeties on Rookie, branded attire with that thingamabob. And look, Safeties on Rookie, all of it. Safeties on Rookie branded. That's right. Safetiesonrookie.com. You can go on safetiesonrookie.com to purchase any kinds of attire that you could possibly want. They're gonna take my thumbs. We've got all kinds of stuff over there, people. All kinds of stuff over there. And I'll tell you what, they feel great to wear. Which is why I keep working with the website I'm working with. I must ask, though, would you guys care for an advertisement? I could make an ad. Do you want me to make an ad and I could just run it? Instead. I could just run an ad instead. I could go make an ad. You know? I know some people who went to film school and stuff. I could just make an ad and I could just run that instead. But yeah, I don't know what else is on the store. What else is on the store? Is funnier. Yeah, you know what? You're right. The panic is funnier. It is more stressful. It's really stressful. You need stuff for your resume. Fucking go. Look, I'll show you the website. See, safetiesonrookie.com merchandise. You can purchase Safeties on Rookie merchandise. You know, we've got a zip hoodie. We've got multiple different colors. You can get it in purple. Yeah, no, Nicholas. That's exactly the kind of that's the kind of ad that I'm thinking of running. Yes, this is a non-Christmas. It could be any kind of winter jumper. I did not just forget to remove it from the web store. This was a limited edition thing, and I forgot to remove it from the web store. I sure hope no one buys it. You buy it, and you know I've got No, I've got a lot of ideas. I've got a lot of ideas of merchandise that I want to do. Maybe some stuff that's a little bit more focused on things to do with the community as well, besides just Dandadan and Dandadan related stuff. Stuff that's got a bit more to do with the community is something I would also like to work on. Time though, I need time to do it, you know. But this year, I fully intend on getting more stuff out this year. It's honestly great. I'm so pleased. Like honestly, the idea of doing merchandise to me always felt like not a real thing. Like that felt like not a real thing that people do. Like that feels like what brands do, rather than myself. But it's been a very fun thing to do. and people enjoy it. I enjoy making it. So let's keep working on stuff, you know. Yeah, I need to. I've got a few other things that I'm working on as well, but right now, yeah, I've got some content I'm currently working on. At the moment, it's in the writing phase still. But I could see it being released relatively soon. It's not like the most complicated thing to write on my end, but it's about getting it right and making it worth people's time. I don't want to make content that's not worth people's time, or it doesn't add anything, or it doesn't present something the way that I want it presented. And then after that, I've got more content on the dome as well. I mean, I've got ideas through to, I've got about 6 different ideas that I'm currently kind of like juggling at the moment, which is so frustrating because I don't have the time to do the things I want to do. And that means that things like merchandise, things like fun stuff get kind of, they fall to the wayside. Yeah, I mean, I try to keep like a steady a pace as I can. I was aiming for 1 video a month, but it looks like I've already fucked that. Looks like I've already fucked that. It's a month fucking like 5. It's diabolical. Fucking diabolical. But it is what it is. I'm just excited to get more stuff out. Honestly, it's difficult at times to move away from Dandadan just generally because Dandadan is like my favorite thing. It's beyond a question at this point. It's just my favorite thing. Peer pressuring you, no, please. That is true. You guys did used to do that. That is funny. I mean, it's hard to say, right? Like, sometimes I'll sit at the computer and I'll do fucking nothing, but I'll work out the way that I want it to work in my head. I mean, it's a difficult thing. Once I get to editing, once I get to recording and editing, it fucking goes quick. The whole thing goes quick. It's the bottleneck is writing stuff. The bottleneck is writing stuff. You know? That is always the goddamn bottleneck with this shit. You know? So it's well, you know, it is what it is. It's definitely the hardest part because it's I do think with Dandadan, just generally when it comes to Dandadan, it's fairly not easy. I don't think it's easy because you want, if it's easy, you're operating in the wrong space, right? But there is a flow or a rhythm that I think I understand about how I make Dandadan content, which makes it kind of like not a incredibly impossible feat to just write a video for it, right? Like the Love Triangles video, the Dandadan Love Triangles video, I was able to just put that together in like a day and a half, something like that, 2 days. The other stuff like that is arguably too easy. All right, Catchy Hoops, that's arguably kind of operates, it lives in that too easy space where it's like, it's a good video, I like it, and I'm glad that I made it, but it definitely doesn't, it kind of like captures a lot of the stuff that we talk about here on the stream and then just encapsulates that in a formal piece of content, at least in my mind. The other stuff that I've got in mind is a little bit different, which I'm quite excited to do, generally speaking, because, you know, I like to make sure that what it is that I'm making has a little bit more, at times a little bit more to it than just talking about like the latest, like we talk about the latest chapter here, right? That's the point. But the content, I like it to have a little bit more, not deeper meaning. I don't think deeper meaning is a fair thing to ascribe because it presumes other people's content is somehow inferior to yours. That's not what I mean. But I want it to kind of be, I think everybody who makes something, when you make something, you have to blend a part of your, the fiber of your being into it in a capacity. You need to put some of you in there. And if you're just making stuff about the chapter or whatever, it kind of just becomes so formulaic that I don't want to make it, you don't want to watch it, maybe you want to watch it, but some of you won't, and I wouldn't blame you because it'd be boring as shit. Like, I could just do a video every single week about the chapter, and I think it would be really boring. like a full-blown video every week. I like the idea of the content here being a bit of like a community event. So I don't know. To me, that's not necessarily. Yeah, no, this is it. Empire. I think that there needs to be a degree of yourself in it. I think that whether that's my emotional view on life, or whether that's kind of a philosophical one, or even like if you go and you watch my content, you probably know my politics, right? Easy as that. Because I see things through the lens of myself, and I inject that into my videos, and things that I care about need to be expressed, or I want to express them rather through the content. And even though that's just Dandadan, that doesn't mean that it can't be more than just Dandadan, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I don't know if that's a I don't know if that's one of those things that makes sense to me and it doesn't make sense to other people, but you know, that's kind of how I feel. I mean, it's just the nature of these things. You know, even the streams, honestly, have kind of taken on really strange, gone through a very strange evolution, right? Like, things feel more polished here, I think, than ever. But I mean, it's definitely different than it was when things were really small. It was like, it felt in a way kind of less professional, right? And I think that reflects my kind of like vibe of what it was at the time. Right now, like, I think talking about Dandadan for me is not something that oftentimes becomes difficult, if that makes sense, right? Back then it was difficult because the format is very difficult. Like, you guys are obviously watching me talk, right? You guys are obviously watching me talk to you. I have lights here, a light there, right? Curtains drawn, right? And I'm talking at this thing and two screens. That is like, right now it feels like I'm talking to you, right? When I do this, I feel like I'm talking to you. Yes, you. And that is something that it took some time to get used to, right? Like, to just be able to do that and talk. Sorry, poke your eye. At least I didn't poke that eye. That took some time to get used to, and it felt like a video diary at times. But as time's gone on, it's kind of just been very easy to talk about Dandadan here and to you guys, and it feels at times more like a broadcast with added interactivity with the audience. Yes, you. Not you, though. You know who I'm talking about. Oh, yeah, the point forward emoji. Yeah. I think you can tell I'd say that you can tell that I'm not passionate about making something because it would come through, but if I'm not passionate about it, it just doesn't make it to the channel. It just doesn't make it to the channel. Really, that's just the way of it. There are tons of things that I wish I had more time to write. You know, I remember way back when, before I did the first Momo no Kurun video, I was working on a Metal Gear Solid video, and I feel like one day I'm going back to that. I'm going back to that video. I'm going back to that concept because there's so much in there that I want to go back to. That is like really good. Smiling friends, super close pointing finger. Yeah, it's you, Charlie. He's my stalker. Oh my god. Doing the Uncle Sam bit. That's crazy. Well, I mean, I think that piece of propaganda was also on British posters as well. Yeah, we also had that. We also had that sneaky bit of propaganda. Thank you very much. So it technically made you smile. I guess. Well, it's you, Charlie. Oh, that's funny. That's a good show. Yeah. The Rick and Morty of the sea, they call it. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I mean, I had aspirations. I had aspirations to go through season 3's thingy. What do you call it? Season 3's episode list and see where it is that we'd go to. I didn't thingy it though. I didn't pin it, I don't think. Maybe I did. I don't remember. Oh my god, I'm a disaster. I'm a disaster. I think that's an anime channel. Yeah, there it is. Let me have a little look. Yeah, okay. Well, let's have a little looky-loo. My boy Zaustus made this. He keeps a on the Discord, Patreon link in the description. Join us if you remember to get access to the Discord. It's the best place on the internet for Dandadan. He keeps a live document, or at least it was live during season 2, of the episodes and the presumption of where they're going to be. We're probably not going to make this a very long bit just now, just because like I absolutely exhausted myself going through the stuff earlier. But let me just so here is the kind of document, the living document of the chapters and presuming where they will end. Now, I don't want to go through every single like episode here. I am very impressed by this document, just generally speaking. So please, everybody, give a little bit of a clap. Can we get some claps in the chat for my boy Zaustus? But I think what is most important here is it introduces certain questions, which is where the fuck are the seasons going to end, right? Where the fuck are the seasons going to end? Now, there's certainly an argument that season 1's ending space was not great. And I think I agree with that as well. There aren't many places to really perfectly end that, to make it work. I mean, it was the Momo stuff that wasn't great, I'm going to be honest. The stuff with Gigi and Okarun was actually very good. And, well, not great, I think is more so relevant to the subject matter than it is the actual kind of nature of the of the cliffhanger. The cliffhanger itself is like, having a cliffhanger like that is fine. It's the subject matter that's not, or rather what got people upset. Now, yeah, I mean, the problem is, right? The problem is, and we've talked about this before, but Dandadan's season 1 and 2. It's the Twitter people. That is what it is. You're right. Season 1 and 2 of Dandadan aren't really season 1 and 2, and I know we've spoke about this a bunch, but it's not really season 1 and 2. It's season 1 split into 2. Two different curs, as they're typically referred to as. It just so happens that marketing it as season 1 and 2 makes it easier to sell people on the next season, which is really just the next half of the season, right? Like, we're just in, nothing means anything anymore, right? And that's the problem. And I think that it does more damage than it will good in the long run, because it means that you get this expectation that, oh, we've got half a year between seasons, and it's like, right, between season 1 and 2 you may have half a year, or like 8 months or something, but then between season 2 and 3 you've got multiple years, and then between season 3 and 4 you've got probably like another 7-8 months, and then after that for season 5 and 6 you've got many years again. It's confusing. It's a silly thing in my opinion, but like it I suppose it sells better. So the question is, my point is, not all cliffhangers are made equally. A mid-season cliffhanger or at the end of a cur cliffhanger is not the same thing as a full-blown end of season cliffhanger, right? I think we all knew that season 2 was going to end on the kiss, right? On Vamola kissing Okurun. I think that was pretty fucking clear. And they even like really they padded, and this is the interesting thing. They padded out the secret art of being attractive with a kind of, and you know, I've seen people not like it. I've seen people not enjoy it. I thought it was very clever. What they did with Kinta in episode 22. I thought it was quite clever. So episode 10 of season 2. Because they obviously needed to pad out more time, and so they gave him kind of a bit of a build up, a backstory kind of build up, and I think that it was a better way of introducing the character of Kinta, because it gives you an actual reason to kind of understand him a little bit better. Like him being at home, kind of preparing to go to school, being very loud, bombastic, explosive, and then when he gets to school, he just crumbles. He just falls to pieces on the spot and goes quiet. Is very Dandadan. Like, it's a type of empathy for people, for the outliers, who kind of, you know, go into themselves. They reduce themselves in order to protect themselves. I thought that was a much better way of doing that, but that was a restriction, right? That came about from the restriction of having to end on the kiss. They pad out the Kaiju arc and make it more significant, at least the fighting, and they kind of go crazy with the stylistic choices in order to make it end on the point they wanted to make it end on. And again, does it necessarily add massive weight or substance to some of the sequences? No, but I think it makes for a better arc. I think it makes for a more enjoyable experience. And I thought that the colors, the animation, and the style of it were unbeatable, really, in my opinion. So I think that they did a lot with little there to make it work. Now, the question is, in regards to season 3, it's I don't know, they took away his 10-gallon wiener line. I know, we don't talk about it. You know, think of everything they've taken from you. Now the question is, season 3. season 3 is complicated, in my opinion, because if you have the 12 episodes, you're either going to have to stuff things, or you're going to intentionally make things longer to kind of have a weird mid-season break. It's difficult, right? And I don't know that I necessarily think that's all of this is perfect here. Like, they're 2 episodes short, essentially. If you were to really realistically fit the whole Space Globalist arc into season 3, you're 2 episodes short of making it work, which is difficult, because then because of the nature of the Space Globalist arc as well. Because of the nature of the Space Globalist arc, you've also got really bad places to end the season. For it to kind of actually work as a mid-season break, right? Like, the difference is that in the Cursed House arc, they were kind of at the beginning. They were at the beginning of the Cursed House arc when that happened. It was the first proper conflict. Whereas in the Space Globalist arc, what we're looking at here, you're talking about the emotional crescendo, the payoff of all of the build-up is going to be the bit where you would have to cut to the next season. And I think that would kill some momentum for it, you know? I mean, even here, I think it would be pretty good to do all of Vamola's backstory in one episode, making that work, and then you've just freed yourself up in episodes. So if you were to make all of Vamola's story fit into one episode, or maybe to cut when Banga and Vamola are separated, and then Vamola's reasons makes its way into the next episode, you've maybe saved yourself an episode there that you can pad out there as well. I think that it would be much more concise to make the whole thing, the whole season, into one arc, the Space Globalist arc. Honestly, you know, maybe again, ending the season on Reiko Kashima taunting Momo. I just think making people wait half a year or 8 months for the continuation of that is cruel, and I think it would upset people. I wouldn't be super pleased with it either, if I'm honest. You know? Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. I mean, like, Okrun getting his shit kicked in the Space Globalist arc really doesn't take very long. Like, it's over pretty instantly. But you want to end it on places that make sense, so it's hard to say. Because if you start trying to rush it, you're going to lose a lot of that artistic expression, the really cool slow bits that you got in season 2, because you're trying to rush it. So, I mean, I know that these guys have probably figured it out, right? And a way that makes sense for them. Like you can't, like, it works better on a 14 episode season, but I just don't believe that that's what we'll move to for season 3. I don't, because even then you're talking about the same budget that's stretched out between more episodes. So any budget boost that they'd be getting for season 3, which they probably would be getting, then has to be split up even more. You know? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think the opening for season 4 being returning Okrun's nut and the dinner scene and stuff, or after the dinner scene, I think would be great. But it's like, you need to make that all fit into a season, you know? That would that would be crazy. That would be crazy amounts of padding, though, right? Because you've got 12 episodes, and and you're talking about getting through like, what, chapters 72 through to 90. which is not near. That's not nearly enough chapters to pad out a season, right? They've done a really good job in the past of making the fight scenes more dynamic, and that's part of the medium, right? You've got a lot more to work with. I don't know. Like, even it's like the Manta's shrimp side quest, right? I just don't, you know what I mean? That to me, I don't know that it necessarily fits. Because you know what I mean? Like, maybe you could do some of these fights quicker, but then the scale of the fighting starts to get damaged a little bit. Yeah, but this is the problem, though, right? This is the problem. If you start rushing through, one of the things that I realized doing the space. Yeah, I honestly, I don't really. If I'm doing a reread, I didn't include Miss Peeny Weenie's I didn't include Peeny Weenie's chapter in the Space Globalist arc retold video because it just kind of kills the momentum. You've got a momentum going, and it just fucking obliterates it. But one thing that I realized going through all of the Space Globalist arc for the retold video, what I realized is that this arc is incredibly deep. Like, it's got a lot of depth to it that you don't necessarily realize on a first read, because there's so much going on. It moves so quickly that you don't necessarily realize that there is so much being said in it. And that's not just about, obviously, the big one is Vermola, right? And I think, you know, given current climate, the current kind of geopolitical climate, that is going to be an incredibly powerful standalone episode. If they can get it right, I think that would be incredibly powerful. Because reading it is heartache incarnate. And when you start to see parallels with reality as well, it's hard not to feel a lot when you go through it. But beyond that, there's a lot going on in there besides just the more obvious analogues for war and things like that. There is a lot being said in here as well about, especially Gigi as a character, right? But I suppose one of the great nuances of that arc for me is not necessarily about just like love and things like that. There's a lot in there about things like hate as well, and not just necessarily treating it as a negative thing. Obviously, the Evil Eye arc and the Cursed House arc were very involved with love's ability to triumph over hatred, right? That's very much central force tying all of that together. And the Evil Eye does have a pretty significant role to play in the Space Globalist arc, but more importantly, Gigi coming to kind of work that out, right? Gigi coming to kind of like understand how he fits into that is really important. And he comes to a conclusion during his fight that when you're protecting something you love, it's totally fine to feel hate. It's important to feel hate, because there are things there, entities there that have come to steal away and destroy this thing that you stand for, that you stand to protect, the planet that you stand to protect, the people that you care to protect. These things are here to destroy those things. The imperialists are here to destroy those things. And he rises to the moment. He finds his inner power, and he's able to tap into that power of the evil eye and his own by combining these two things rather than to just push it down. And it echoes exactly what happens in Vemola's story as well. It's about not passively accepting oppression, right? It's about how you have to fight. You have to fight to defend these things that people have come to destroy. And this is what Banga, essentially, this is the conclusion that Banga reaches. And she passes that on to the Sumerians, which is that you need to fight and you need to hate those who have come to destroy everything. These are there is depth in this story arc that matters a lot. I mean, look at Reiko Kashima. Reiko Kashima is this entity of hate, right? An avatar of destruction, and she just does it. She just does it, and her hatred, this power comes from her hatred, because of how she died and what she lost, because of the exact same things that Vemola lost, the exact same things that Gigi stands to lose, and Okurun almost succumbed to, and Momo's pain came from the exact same thing. But it's Reiko Kashima inverts that same story theme by being saved by, not saved, but choosing a different path to protect the world, to destroy those who symbolically destroyed her, because she remembers her love. And then she's able to tap into that hatred and direct it in the right way. My point is, there's a lot fucking going on in this arc that I don't think is necessarily tapped into just because it's a big fight. I think that this, in a lot of ways, this demonstrates a lot of Tatsu's worldview. And I think it's important to get it right, is my point. And I don't want it rushed, you know? No, I would rather not have any movies. I'd rather not have any movies, if I'm honest, though. Just because, like, I like a season being a season. I like a movie being a movie. I'd rather just we covered this properly. If we had 14 episodes, I think it would fucking kill it. That's the hard part. Is will we have 14 episodes? You know? Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see a screening for some of the early season again. You know? I mean, I haven't seen the Chainsaw Man movie yet, so I can't really comment on how it turns out. It's just, I find it gets confusing. It just gets confusing, and it kind of becomes tricky. I mean, I suppose like the idea that there's in some way some validation to be found in that, I find, you know, kind of exhausting. But that movie did really well. That movie did really well for itself. And I think that it's probably going to be becoming more of a thing. Although Chainsaw Man is actually a unique situation, I suppose, because the studio, to my understanding, get complete control over that. Like, that is their, like, they own the rights to Chainsaw Man as an animated adaptation. So I don't know. It's probably a unique situation, you know. Kamakiri dissected Ira's pride methodically. I mean, I don't know. I think that Ida is an interesting character. Ida is a complicated character, a bit more complicated, I think, than than she gets credit for, especially just now. It does feel like that people have moved into two different camps with Ida just recently. A lot of people are super... They get it, I think. Like, they emotionally get it and can empathize with her. I've seen people straight up just, like, go, right, this is my new favorite ship now out of the two of them, and that's crazy to me. But I don't know. I mean, I suppose that's a good question in regards to it being finished. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I imagine that there's benefits to both. Ida is that good. I think taking the seasons and releasing them theatrically, releasing them theatrically, at least the first few episodes, that's fine. Like, you know, make your money, you know, secure the bag while you can. But I think I just don't see how. I don't like that things feel like they need to validate themselves by becoming a cinematic experience. Traditionally, as far as I'm concerned, traditionally film and movies have just never been the same thing. It's really a very recent occurrence. It's a very recent occurrence, I find, that we've had such high quality TV now that people expect cinematic adaptations of things. I just, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't. It just adds a level of complexity to the story that it makes it more difficult for people to just jump in and just watch. And then it's like, oh, distribution rights for the movie. Like, it's like, do we, you know, are we doing this? Are we really doing this? And yeah, kick the can movie. Oh yeah, but even that I think isn't long enough, is it? I don't know, man. Like, I don't want a movie. That's my thing. I just don't really want a movie. I agree with you as well. Empire. Like, I also look. I very much with the Ida thing. I tried my hardest to get in it, and just enjoy it, and I did, and I bought into it so much. So the idea that I then had to put that down emotionally is like, that's tough going, man. That was hard to do. My video on the love triangles, when I'm talking about Ida in that, I mean it, right? Like, I mean every word about that. Because I, like, when I was reading it, I was like, why does this work so well? And how come I feel like I'm betraying Momo and Okurun because of it? And then you kind of think, oh shit, this must be at least a little bit of how Okurun feels right now, right? Like, this feels weirdly okay. It's not enough, but it feels weirdly okay. Yeah, no, that would be quite cool. But again, like, it's kind of like, you know, like, there are tons of, like, anime movies, like, fucking, like, oh, we go to alternate universes and stuff, but it kind of didn't really happen. It's like, I think at that point it just becomes almost like filler, and as a term, like, you know what I mean? I don't really feel well, you know how I feel about filler as a notion, as a concept. You know how I feel about filler. But yeah, I know I'm trying to bury it. I'm trying to bury it, right? The whole concept, the whole term, to me, I find exhausting. I find the term filler to be shorthand. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing the filler rant again. All right. But my point is that if you get something of value for the characters from these experiences, then it's not filler. If you learn about the characters, but it's like, I'd be fine with it. I guess. But it's kind of like, I don't need it. I don't really want it either. You know? Like, I just want my season 3 and my season 4. I mean, season 3 will be split up. Season 3 will be split up. Guaranteed. There's not really a question in that. Season 3 is going to be split into season 3 and season 4, right? That is what it is, you know. Yeah, but you also need to think, right? Like, it would slow down production. I mean, it is going to be split into season 3 and 4. You're going to get a 24 episode season, commission season, and it's going to be split into 2 different seasons. It's the way that it's been done for a very, very long time. It's the same with what they did with season 1 and 2. It's just the way that these things work. It has for a long time been the case. It's just recently they've decided to call it season 1 and season 2 instead of just season 1 part 1 and part 2, or core 1 and core 2. It is going to be split. But the question is, where does it split? And my answer, I don't fucking know where you could properly split this without either rushing it, stretching it, or just picking a bad place. Or just picking a bad place. You know, the perfect outcome for me is that they do 214 episode sequels, but then you're commissioning a whole extra third of a season on top, and you can't just do that because each episode probably costs tons. Yeah, but if you split it where Vamola leaves, which is what, like, you're talking like 20 chapters, 20 something chapters, like that's not enough for a season. You'd have to cut it mid-fight. If you're going to cut it anywhere, you've got to cut it mid-fight. Big fight as well. End of the arc fight. Yeah, and it would also mean that season 3 sucked ass. That is also what that would mean. It would mean season 3 sucked ass. Because it literally just covered that. It would be boring as shit. I think the most eloquent way to do it is to find a way to do the whole fucking thing, whole Space Globalist, in one season. That would be crazy, Danny. That would be crazy. People would be so angry. Very funny, though. That'd be very funny. But that's still like 24... No, that is literally 20 chapters. That would be 20 chapters. I don't think that's enough. You know. I think Reiko Kashima would have to be episode 2. I don't know whether surely it wouldn't be 2. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I mean, like, if you were to ask me about how that would work, I mean, you'd get the morning, you'd get Momo and Vamola going to school together, bonding. Then it would start the fight with Reiko Kashima. Then they'd get trapped in the mirror, or one of them would get trapped in the mirror, or they both get trapped in the mirror. That would be end of the episode. Then it would start on the next episode where they defeat her, and then they go to school, and then Momo's pulse pounding night would be the end of that episode. And I think but this is it though. I don't want them to rush. I don't want them to rush that moment. Do you know what I mean? That bit with Reiko Kashima talking to her from outside the window in Okarun's voice is one of my favorite bits. That is one of my favorite bits in all of the series. It's got to be top. It could be in my top 3. It's definitely in my top 5. but it could be in my top 3. You know, and I don't want that rushed. I don't want that rushed under any circumstances. I don't want that rushed because it's like up there. There are very few moments that are so introspective to Momo as a character, and that's one of those moments that really compelled me regarding this series. To me, that's like one of those moments. You know, that's what makes this series special, kind of moments. So I don't want it just stuffed in a 5-minute thing. I want it to be well, 5 minutes actually. I suppose is probably more than about right actually. Like 5 minutes is probably about right. I want it to actually have that room to breathe, right? Yeah, it's a very vulnerable moment, exactly. Putting that together on the retold, the Space Globalist retold for me was really enjoyable. One of my favorite things for the channel. That was one of my favorite things for the channel. I really enjoyed making that sequence because it was a very, like I said, introspective, insightful experience for the character, and it gives you that, because it's like there's two people there, but there's really only one person there, and that's it. I mean, Reiko Kashima fights with mirrors, but more importantly, she is a mirror, and she's able to point that at Momo. That's what's really important. I mean, a lot of season 3, all the characters get a moment to shine in the Space Globalist arc, and we get more insight into Momo during that season than in that arc than in a lot of other ones. And for me, that moment is so crucial to understanding where Momo's at, what she needs from Okarun, as well as what it is that she feels. Yeah, it shows her own heart through this mirror. Reiko Kaneshima and Momo's relationship, I think, is really crucial to this. And I want that to get its space to breathe. I mean, I'm saying this like I have worries or doubts. I really don't, right? Like Science Saru to me fucking nailed season 1 and 2. As far as I'm concerned, these people are responsible for me being here doing this right now. You know, I have no reason to doubt them. To me, it would be wrong. It would be improper of me to doubt them, because I only care. I've only done anything that I've done in regards to this because of how they fucking did it, of what they did with season 1 and specifically with season 1, and season 2. I'm just excited for more stuff. You know, I'm just excited for more stuff. There's only one thing you disagreed with them doing. I also have disagreed with probably one thing as well. The only thing that I did not care for that they did was in season 2, when Ida gets smacked by the opera singing tulpas. That moment where she thinks Iris fast. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's a flashback when she thinks about everything that she's done in the anime. She thinks about all of her friends, like my friends and stuff. I do this for my friends. That's not what that moment means to me. To me, in the manga, when she has that moment, she thinks not about necessarily her friends, just them existing. It's about her own failure in regards to Momo earlier, with the evil eye. It's about it's about Ida as a character being in this halfway position of being their friends but not truly dedicating herself to them, kind of always being a bit like on the fringes of the relationship. And it's at that moment that she decides what matters to her. So she pushes through. And she manages to do that because of the fact that she decides there and then she needs to be stronger to protect her friends, not her maybe friends, not her I kind of don't really like these guys, don't talk to me in school people, friends, and specifically Momo. And that's a big moment for her, I think, because it's like, for me, it's the first time that she's cared about any of them properly outside of Okarun, and I don't think that they really did that very well in that. All right, Rue, I'm about to wrap up in a minute anyway, but thank you for joining. It's good to have you here. Yeah, no, we're on the same wavelength with it, Toaster. Like that's my thing. That's my main thing. I think that is the only, that's the bit that missed the mark for me. I mean, that episode generally didn't really live up to my desires for it, but like, you know, that's fine. Like, you know, not everything will. And also everything else is perfect, so it's like you're comparing it to perfection. But that moment to me was it almost felt like the reason I even noticed it is because the ball was dropped on a character moment that was kind of pivotal for Ida, so it was weird. It was a bit weird, in my opinion. It was a little bit weird. That is like something that was dropped because they've nailed every other one. It did her a bit of it was a bit superficial, and the character of Ida, from my understanding, is that it's all about deconstructing superficiality for her. But yes, they did do a very good job of the post-fight scene. In fact, they nailed it. Like, this is what I mean, though. Everything else around that is perfection. It's nailed. So the fact that that moment missed the mark is really strange. But I mean, you know, it is what it is. I think that this is just the nature of things. Nothing's perfect, really, and that's perfect in itself. But yeah, right then. So that's everything I've got for you today. Silence, Toaster. Silence, Toasted One. Yes, right. I think it's time to call it. But this has been good. You know, I don't know what it is, but I feel like these streams recently have been a bit more back in the energy that they need to be, I think. Especially with anything Dandadan related, I feel like what are you gonna call it? I'm gonna call it Chad. Chance. God, that's a dog's name, dude. How you calling a human being Chance, by the way? That's crazy. That's a crazy name to give a human being. You know? Anyway. That's not relevant. Anyway, if you stop being disruptive, I was just going to say that the energy feels like right. It feels quite good recently. What else? Right, working on content. Should hopefully be written by the end of this week, by like Monday. So let's say a week from now, I should hopefully have it written and into recording. Then it's called Chance. I hate that. Don't enjoy that. Chance is crazy. That's a crazy name. I'm sorry, that's a crazy name. You know. Anyway. Yeah, yeah. Well, this is it. I think that we're in a really nice kind of like rhythm where it does feel like the chapters are kind of working in rhythm with what it is that I've been putting down, which makes me really happy. But anyway, yeah, working on content. Hopefully get that done, written up in a week, and then maybe recorded in that spot, then edited. I think that it will probably be within the scope of a week or so. So maybe early June. Perhaps. We'll see. But anyway, I'll keep you updated on the Discord, Patreon link in the description. Join as a free member to get access to the Discord. It's the best place on the internet for Dandadan. Also, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I presume you all already are. And that's it. That's all I've got. And besides that, guys, I will see you next week.